Have you ever heard someone say that humans only use 10% of their brains? Maybe from Morgan Freeman's opening lines in the 2014 hit film Lucy, or from numerous other pop culture references? Well, today I'm here to bust this neuromyth, explain a little bit about its history, and tell you why it's false. Before we begin, though, a neuromyth is simply a widely perpetuated but false belief about the brain. So first, let's get into some background. No one is totally sure how the 10% myth came to be, but its first recorded usage was in 1907 by William James in the journal Science. William James argued that we only use some of our mental resources, but not all of them, although he didn't give any percentage. Later on, in 1936, Dale Carnegie's popular book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, used the formal 10% figure. Some scientists also once believed that neurons are about 10% of all brain cells, which may have contributed to the 10% myth. Since then, though, the myth has remained a constant in all different kinds of media. It's so widely believed that even a major blockbuster film got away with saying it. Now let's get into why it's false. The neuromyth was debunked in a study in a journal called Frontiers in Human Neuroscience in 2009 through the use of fMRI. fMRI is a technique scientists use to measure the activity in someone's brain while they do different activities. With this technology, researchers learned that most of our brain is active most of the time, even during simple activities or sleeping. The percentage of the brain that people use at any given time varies from person to person and based on what we're thinking about. Through research, scientists also learned that while the brain takes up only 2% of the body's mass, it consumes 20% of its glucose to have enough energy to function. Even using all of this glucose, the brain uses a technique called sparse coding to save energy. Sparse coding means that the brain only lets a small percentage of cells fire at one time, but that all of the cells in your brain do fire. This means that while we don't use 100% of our brain 100% of the time, we do use all of it at different times. While it might seem harmless, knowing that this neuromyth is a neuromyth is actually really important. It's important because if we believe that 90% of our brain is sitting up there in our heads doing nothing, hoping in vain that one day we'll figure out how to unlock that unknown part, we're not focusing on issues that matter. Instead, we should dedicate time to issues about the brain that we still haven't figured out, so that we can impact the lives of people around us who need help. So, in the future, if you hear someone say in passing that we only use 10% of our brains, correct them. Or, better yet, show them this video so that they can learn more too. Thanks for listening.